So I feel like this type of video used to be so much more popular and commonplace before we had a global pandemic and most first round drama school auditions happened over self-tape. But I want to bring it back and talk about my RADA audition experiences across the years. So my first point that I want to say is actually that I was looking back over my auditions and my emails, trying to work out how many times that I've applied for RADA. And I know it's at least 3, but I don't know if it's any more than that. I think it is just 3. But I feel like that's an important point to mention, that like when you're auditioning, especially in your early years of auditioning, when other people might be going off to uni, it feels like quite all-consuming. Like I was doing so much audition coaching, I was doing so many different acting lessons, and like auditioning for drama school was my whole life and my whole world, along with 4A levels as well. But like it was my whole world and it was everything, and I was really putting so much pressure on it, which obviously like it would be such an incredible opportunity to go to RADA, but like I was thinking about it so much. And the fact is now I don't even know how many times I've applied. I do think it's 3, but the fact that I have to check shows that like with time you'll be okay and you'll find a path, and you won't be so fixated on whatever's happened in the past and what kind of rejections you have or haven't got or whatever. So I just thought that that was important to keep in mind. And also the RADA audition process has changed, which makes me feel sort of old actually. Like, why is the audition process changing in my lifetime of auditioning? It used to be an introduction and then like 4 pieces, because it would be like 2 classical and then contemporary and a verse and chorus unaccompanied, and then like 3 questions at the end, which it used to be all of that and like a change of shot with no cuts. So it's basically the same sort of material, and like you explain why you've picked what you've picked, but it's just split across 2 rounds rather than all of that material being in 1 round. And I feel like when I first auditioned I used to think that's so much. Like I think it's a long time ago, but I think I used to find that quite intense, that it was 4 pieces and an introduction and 3 questions with no cuts. But I think actually that is just like reenacting what it's like to be in the room, and I think it's really nice to have that sort of energy and to be able to test sort of how grounded you are and how able you are to like really trust yourself to be able to take the time that you need to get into each piece. But I think I auditioned when I was 17, 18 and 22, and I think I've heard since that like they generally like often don't accept people who are under the age of 20, and I made it through to the 2nd round when I was 22, which is nice. I think be able to have like been in the industry for a while, be professionally auditioning, like it's so much more chill. Like I feel like you really just see that you're able to, firstly, like I feel like when you're in the industry a bit more, you have these go-to speeches where like if you need a speech, there's a contemporary or classical speech, you have ones that you use. So it's a bit more chill because you're not doing this intense audition technique stuff and like practice just because like someone's told you that that's what you need in order to get into drama school, and you're trying to follow everything like exactly how it's meant to be. Like I feel like once you get over that bit, you can really ground yourself in your own instincts. And I feel like you also learn that like at the National Youth Theatre, for example, I'm a member there, and we have a similar 4-round audition process for a rep company every year, and sometimes people make it through to the 3rd round, the final round, and other years they get rejected 1st round. So I feel like you really learn and you meet people in the industry and you see that like it's so chill. Like realistically, there are people working professionally and who are professionally active in the industry who get a place at RADA. There's also people who are professionally active in the industry who will get rejected at all other different stages in the process, and like that's what happens. Like some opportunities and like jobs in the industry you'll get rejected from first round, others you'll get really close to, and that's sort of the way of the world. And I feel like once you surrender to that, it gives you a lot more peace of mind. So the RADA audition process is in 4 rounds, and the first is the tape, which I mentioned, which is like a full-length classical and then a mid shot of your contemporary. And also in your tapes you're explaining why you picked the pieces, you're giving them your postcode. I don't know why that is. I don't think they're ever going to show up my door. I think it's just more like identifying who you are, maybe. And the second round, as I've mentioned, I think is all in mid shot, and it's a classical speech and also a verse and chorus. And I feel like I have mixed thoughts on the verse and chorus because it's an acting course. So like I've done over 4 years of singing lessons now, because I started singing lessons sort of when I was in the early stages of auditioning, so I wasn't an experienced singer at the start, and I feel like I'm still very much on the journey with singing, but as we all are, I guess, even if we're training, regardless of where you are, even if you've been singing for years and years and years. But I feel like there are songs that are more like acting through songs that I've been doing, like Life I Never Led. That's a bit of a big song though in some ways, and Before It's Over I use quite a lot from Dogfight, and I feel like that's a very much a chatty song and very much an awkward, like it says awkward girl with her guitar, so it's very much like awkward girl with her guitar, but that's not very good for like the vocal tension, because if you're tense as a character, that's going to affect the voice. So in hindsight, I wonder if I should have been doing some kind of more like big sing to like demonstrate singing, or whether I should be focusing more on like a song that's more of a story and like a monologue with a bit of a singing quality to it. Like that's more of a sort of speech quality kind of song in some ways. So I am debating with myself over that, but I think regardless there are ways that you could do either of those options probably and progress to the next round if it's the opportunity that's right for you at this time. So, and third round is a half-day in-person workshop, and fourth round is a full-day in-person workshop, which I think would be interesting to get to the stage of. But equally there's so many different workshops that go on at RADA and so many different short courses, so like there's lots of different opportunities to get involved. And with regards to the application, you just need a 200-word statement about yourself these days, which I feel like is quite easy to just do this as a process. Like some go through UCAS and there's a lot more different sections to that form. There's so much going on there. So like if you just want to like dip into the audition process, and then like RADA's such a big name, I feel like that would be so useful for me. Like there's many different benefits that come with having a big name, and also there's so many different big name people that have gone through there, and like the standard of teaching is really good. It's like a huge name school, so like there are many other benefits to it, but also the fact that like it's 200 words to write down and then one tape, like it's easier to like do that as an individual separate process. So that's something to keep in mind. And also something that I was really told when I first auditioned is that Mountview and ArtsEd, I think it's mainly Mountview and ArtsEd, are on the degree courses independent. So basically the tuition fees would be 14,000, and I think you can get 6,000 of that in student loan, and then you have to cover the other 8,000, so you can get a maintenance loan, and I think you can cover part of that with that. But compared to that, RADA is one of them that's covered fully by student loan, because I think lots of people think that like it would be quite pricey, and maybe I'm wrong on this, but I think it's basically just like doing a degree. So it's the same sort of loan process. It's not like additional costs. Obviously there will be like various different things that you might need as part of the course, as with any course, but I think it's basically like doing a degree. It's affiliated with a university and there's not like additional tuition fees. And also I've been taught by some people who have been to RADA. I've met many RADA graduates and RADA students, and I feel like they have so many interesting tools that they use, and they feel quite grounded as people in the industry. Like I feel like it's a good school to go to. I just get good vibes from it. It's hard to explain because I actually haven't been to the school, so I can't exactly comment, but I feel like people, when you go to a school that has such a big name and has such big industry connections, like, they seem to feel quite grounded in the industry, if that makes sense. Like, I feel like there's a lot of benefits as well to going, and a lot of different connections you can gain, and also like the standard of training is RADA. So the standard of training seems to be really, really good, and I've learned so much from the people who I've met, which is just sort of anecdotal evidence, but I feel like it is a good course. I feel like when I got first rejected, I then did my first professional audition in August 2021 after I'd done my first, is that after I'd done my first round of, I don't know, it's all a bit of a blur, but I think basically in the summer after my first year of auditioning for drama school, I did my first professional audition, and I feel like really getting used to doing self-tapes, like, you just trust that you do get better over time, and like, keep training, keep trying. And those are my thoughts on the process, and that's some of the information that I can hand over about RADA, I guess. I just wanted to chat about it because I feel jealous that all of these other people have done videos about individual schools. So let me know if you have any questions or thoughts or experiences or tips that you want to share with me in case I audition in future years and want like help with my RADA applications in order to get in. Like, anything you want to share with me, any thoughts at all, let's chat in the comments, and subscribe to see where I go next as well. But I thought it would be nice to chat more in depth about RADA because I auditioned for it and got to get that content and like chat stuff through sometimes. Like, it's nice to be able to connect with people because I didn't really have much information about individual schools before I started applying. So I was really grateful that there was information out there. So I thought I'd open it up and let you know that I've auditioned 3 times. So if you want to chat, let's chat. And thank you so much for watching. Bye!